YouTube, what's going on, guys? We here with another reaction video. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. I hope you enjoyed the last reaction. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. But today's video, we have Patrick Mahomes, scary concussion. Doctor reacts to hit and controversial missed call. Football is a dangerous sport. I played it a little bit, but I ain't played it my whole life for that reason. So we finna check it out. I watched the game, but we're gonna see what the doc got to say.
He's all disoriented. He can't stand up and get his bearings to even put weight under his legs. I don't care what anybody says. You don't need an evaluation to look at this and know that he's suffered a concussion. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and this is your #1 source for learning about the unique medical side of the world of sports. Two things we're going to talk about in this video. The first one is this hit on Mahomes here. The second thing we're going to address is the NFL absolutely must change this rule about reviewing helmet-to-helmet hits, because this play earlier in the game was clearly helmet to helmet, was clearly a dangerous play, and has to be changed as a rule if the NFL is really...
See, this is the thing. When we go about changing rules in NFL, we as the fans understand that it's for player safety, but it's a comeback sport, bro. Like, we want to see somebody get their helmet knocked off. I mean, I played it. I ain't want to get my helmet knocked off, but, watching it in the stand, hey.
about player health. As always, if you enjoy learning about this unique side of sports, please consider subscribing, and let's get started. Here's the play where Mahomes gets hurt, and on first review, it really didn't look like much. When he gets tackled, there's no contact directly to his head. As he goes down to the ground, it doesn't look like it's that violent, but if we look at another view, we'll see where he actually hit his head. We'll look at this position in another view, but this is very important because what Mahomes is displaying here is something called a fencing response. This action where his left leg is extended, his left arm is extended out. This is classic for something called a fencing response that signifies a traumatic brain injury like a concussion. Now, the second concerning thing here is when Mahomes gets up, we can see he clearly is unsteady on his feet. He's wobbling, he falls back down to the ground. He can't stand up even though his players are trying to help him. He is clearly...
Man, all a concussion is your brain bouncing off the side of your skull. This dude is so miscombobulated. He can't even stand up on his own wheel. That's crazy.
Here at this point. He's all disoriented. He can't stand up and get his bearings to even put weight under his legs. I don't care what anybody says. You don't need an evaluation to look at this and know that he suffered a concussion. Here's the defender comes in again. There's really no direct contact on Mahomes' head. The arm coming in might have imparted a little bit of load, but looked like it kind of hit more on the shoulder pad than the helmet. So if we kind of advance through this, again, I still don't think at this point he's had the concussion. And even though it's slow, the kind of abrupt change right there, even though it doesn't look like his head ultimately makes contact with the ground, if we wind this up and kind of play back a little bit quicker, there still is this abrupt acceleration and deceleration as Mahomes' head right there comes to a pretty sudden stop just by the ground. This is really all we need to see, though, to know that Mahomes has suffered a concussion on this play. He's displaying something called the fencing response. His left arm is extended out in front of him. His left leg is extended below him. And this is something that basically gets triggered when we think there's been damage or some sort of a blow, especially to the brainstem, that sort of brings back this primitive protective response called a fencing reflex. So this in and of itself is a sign to the medical staff that he suffered a brain injury. Now, we'll dive into exactly why that type of acceleration, deceleration caused the head injury, and then also that controversial play with the helmet-on-helmet hit. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. It's easy to take care of our health by eating the right foods and exercising, but a lot of guys, including myself, have a hard time taking care of our skin. And take the guessing game out of choosing the right skin. Now, at the time of recording this, the last word we've gotten is that Mahomes is questionable to return. The announcers were talking about evaluating for a head injury. We even heard them say, gosh, if that's not a concussion, then I don't know what is. And I agree with them. I don't understand, at least at this point, why he's still questionable. I don't know if they're looking at the footage to see this fencing response, but when you see a guy wobbling to where he can't stand up, he can't get his legs under him, clearly disoriented on the field, displaying a classic fencing response.
He needs some milk.
I'm not there in the locker room, but I don't know what else you need to see to say that a guy suffered a concussion. Now, yes, I'll accept that this is elite NFL football. This isn't high school, and so there's always going to be some nuances. But if
you fall and hit the ground and come up like one of these, I don't care if you playing tennis, soccer, if you walking through the grocery store, you need help. Yeah.
trying to really protect the health of the player, there shouldn't be a difference from one moment to the next. We'll see what the final word is, though. If the Chiefs go on to win, yeah, there's definitely a good chance that Mahomes could be back by next weekend. So I don't think this is a long-term thing. But to me, all the classic things are here to say that he's had a concussion, and we just got to see what's next. This is also an important lesson that you don't need direct head contact to cause a concussion. Your brain basically sits in the spinal fluid, and so it has some ability to sort of shift and slosh around in the brain. And so based on how much your neck or your head gets whipped from one side to the other, that can actually cause your brain to sort of slosh back and forth in that spinal fluid and crash into the inside of the skull. So here as Mahomes goes down, that acceleration and then all of a sudden really quick stopping, the momentum of his brain is going to carry it forward to where particularly the front of the brain is going to sort of push into the inside of his skull. Then as he stops, it's going to come back and the back portion of the brain is going to hit inside the skull. So you don't have to have direct contact to the head to actually have a concussion. It can just be a quick, sudden whiplash type movement. And that's really what it looks like we're seeing here with Mahomes. This looks to...
But that's the thing, though. This is the price these guys pay to, like, you know, get paid this much money and, like, do their dream. You know, it's crazy. This some people way out, you know. And, you know, but, you know, this is the price they pay. You know, football is a dangerous sport. In my honest opinion, concussions happen on every play. No lie. Concussions happen every play. Especially on the offensive line, your head is getting hit every play. So, I mean, you know, in this circumstance, all the reason it's so obvious because he was on the run and he had got hit and the camera was focused on him. But if you just see offensive lineman head contact, it's
like
crazy.
It's more of a whiplash sort of thing,
you know,
where then we see him
everybody
go
been
up here
concussion protocol,
again into that fencing response. Next, we got to address this play at the end of the first half. So, yeah, I don't think anybody would look at this and question that this was an illegal hit. All right, we can see the defender even like bring his arms down, like he's getting ready to launch and strike with his head. He comes in here initially as he's getting ready to tackle. Right here, we can see the heads up, and then he specifically lowers the head and boom, makes contact right onto Higgins' helmet. You can see the quick change even in Higgins' helmet just from that blow. Hasn't been hit, and then all of a sudden, pop, just gets that sudden forceful knock on his helmet, which is dangerous. It's dangerous to the receiver. This type of tackling is dangerous to the defender. If you watch in real time with the audio, you could even clearly...
Hey, but it's good for TV. Hey, I love to see it. I likes this.
Hear the sound of his helmet hitting another helmet. If that's not lowering the head, if that's not helmet to helmet, targeting, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what is. The NFL has to change to be able to review these plays if they truly are concerned about player safety. I get that you could say, well, we're going to review a bunch of plays a game. It's going to get out of control. But especially if you're looking at a play for some other reason and you see a clear example of illegal helmet-to-helmet contact here, you've got to penalize it. You've got to work on getting this out of the game because otherwise there's not going to be as much of an incentive for players to be aware of not doing this. The NFL's done a lot of great things to really focus on player health and safety, but this is something they need to do. There needs to be some way to look back at these plays and assess the accordingly.
I mean, what you want to do? They already got reviews. I mean, this the part the NFL don't want to take away from the game is like, whoa, like the whoa factor. Like I understand number 20 Higgins. I understand he is probably hurting right now. He got a headache. He need aspirins. He need Tylenol, Advil, all that. But I mean, the thing is, the crowd though. Like I'm sitting at the house watching TV. We in the middle of a panoramic. You know, we in the middle of a panoramic. So we sitting here watching it on TV. That action come through the screen when somebody get their head knocked off, you know.
Penalty, because this needs to get out of the game, and I really wish that they could review it. This is dangerous not just for Higgins, but it's also dangerous for the defender because when you lower your helmet like that, what you're doing is you're straightening out the natural curve in your cervical spine, which imparts more compression through that spine. This is why spear tackling was banned, was because of actually the risk to the defender, not because of the head injury. So in this, you've got double risk. You've got the risk of a concussion. You've got the risk of neck injury to the defender. The NFL needs to get real here and allow this to...
All right, guys, that's the end of that video. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. And let me know some more videos you want to see me react to. And like I say, be better tomorrow than you were today. See you in the next video. Peace.